Oh my gosh, is it Joe?
Joe! He's connecting to audio.
Oh, hey everyone. How we doing?
Hello. We are good.
Not
Oh my
bad.
gosh, Jenny Chan, I didn't know you were in on this.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, all right. So,
Well, we got a busy list of questions ahead of us, so are you ready?
yes, I am indeed.
Okay, let's start off with a small introduction to our viewers. What is your name?
So I'm Joe Steinmeyer.
What do you do at MIT?
I'm a principal lecturer in EECS in MIT.
So how long have you been teaching?
About 6 years.
What did you do this morning?
So I woke up, I did some programming, I answered some emails, I put birdseed out, nothing crazy.
Okay, what's your morning ritual like?
I usually try to wake up early. It's been weird. I usually used to be able to get up at 5 or something, but man, the quarantine's really made that harder. So it's a little bit later usually.
What's your favorite breakfast food?
Pancakes.
Coffee or tea?
Both actually. I usually alternate throughout the day. Right now I'm sort of doing like a coffee tea pattern. It'll probably change eventually.
Where are you quarantining right now?
In Boston, in the Dorchester neighborhood where I live.
What's your favorite quarantine activity?
Been doing a lot of woodworking. That's been fun.
Real or imaginary? Who would you quarantine with?
I think my setup's pretty good right now. It'd be nice to have my family nearby so we could, actually see each other, because we see each other even less now than usual.
Can you explain why you wanted to do this interview?
It seemed like a fun thing to do, I guess.
Advice you'd give yourself at a younger age?
I wish I should have tried to complete more projects. I started a lot of projects and then I get bored with them and skip them and leave them. I wish I would have seen a few more through to the end. I think I would have gotten more out of them.
Yes, tell me about a favorite project you ever created.
So we use this a lot. I built if you've ever been in a T station, they have the sign that says when the trains are coming and stuff. So I built one of those and I have it in our place that's customized for our particular location. So it gets the buses coming and stuff. So I scrape the MBTA API, and then I have my own model I built up that kind of estimates when the buses will be coming using previous bus timing. So we use that a lot, when we're waiting for the bus in the morning.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay. Worst project you've ever created?
I mean, I have a lot of bad projects. I think this past weekend, I was CNCing a light switch cover, on a small cheap CNC, and it took 6 hours, and then I get it done, and then I didn't measure the screw spacing correctly, so it's there's nothing you can do with it. It's complete junk. So I'm kind of bitter over that one. It's probably not the worst ever, but right now it feels that way.
Okay. What's the best thing about teaching at MIT?
I think for better or for worse, the students always surprise me. So I think you never know what you're getting. So that's kind of exciting.
Best thing about MIT?
It is nice to be in a place where everyone, for the most part, follows logic, I would say.
Okay, so the worst thing about MIT?
I think it can suck sometimes to be in a place where everyone, for the most part, follows logic. Sometimes I wish we had a little bit more not illogical thinking, but whatever the opposite of that would be. So.
Best class you like to teach?
I don't know. I don't like to teach any one particular class. I like doing a mixture. If I had to do 608 or 111 every term, I think I'd kind of get really frustrated with that. So alternating, a mixture is good.
Okay, so why do you like to teach that class?
So, 111, I really like designing at the hardware level, close to the gates. I think that's really cool because you're designing computation basically at the silicon level. 608, I like doing front end and back end stuff. I find that really fulfilling. I think I can't get over the fact that you can have a $3 microcontroller, communicate to someplace on the other side of the world. I don't think I'll ever get bored with that idea. And then 002, which I also teach, I find circuits kind of everywhere. So, it's sort of an opportunity to explore them.
So is a hot dog a sandwich?
I've never classified it as such, but I could be convinced with enough arguments, I suppose.
Go-to snack at Verdi's?
So I stopped going to La Verde's after a few years ago because their card reader broke for a few weeks and I got really frustrated at them. So I kind of turned that into a boycott. When I did go, I would get their hazelnut coffee, which I never thought was particularly good, but it reminded me of sort of a grad school thing, early morning, a particular flavor, kind of a time in my life thing.
Any top 3 books that you read this summer?
So I redid Middlesex by Eugenides. That was back in like May, I'd say. Fantastic, great American novel right there. Did Fascism by Madeleine Albright. It's okay. And then I was doing The Three Body Problems by Sheshen Liu, or Liu Sheshen. I never could tell because they switch his name ordering.
Most life-changing book you've ever read?
Death on the Installment Plan by Celine. The author's he was sort of a jerk, not a good guy. But the novel itself is really moving, I found.
Can you tell me, how did you become a lecturer at MIT?
Yeah, I don't know. I was finishing my PhD up. I was starting to look for jobs. There was an opening. I applied and I got it. It was good timing, I suppose.
Along with teaching undergrad classes, you're also involved in OEOP, leading multiple free STEM summer programs that aim to provide underserved high school students with engineering experiences. What do you like about it?
So I think late high school is a really confusing time for people. And then on top of that, we're requiring people to make really life critical decisions at that point, like college or what do you do? So that's sort of unfortunate. So I like being there to help guide students make decisions. And it doesn't mean I want them all to do STEM, for example. Like, I think as long as they find their calling, I think that's good. I think the OEOP in particularly, I really support their mission and STEM is a historically very white, straight male profession, right? And I think we've made some improvements in that, right? But we have a long way to go. And one day I hope we're far from that.
Very inspiring. So what summer programs did you teach?
I've done MITES for I think 11 or 12 years, Most Tech, which is the online one, E2, which no longer happens, but that was a cool one. I taught for another program called Noonan Scholars, which was slightly out of Los Angeles and Boston. This summer it's just Most Tech because of the whole quarantine and stuff, but the kids have been great this year. It's been a good set of projects and stuff.
Good to hear. What's your favorite subfield of EECS?
Oh, there's so many. It's hard to pick. I think, IoT, that field, I think is really interesting. I think it gets a bad rap because people think it's about like Wi-Fi connected juicers or like party light systems or something. But I think there's so much it can do and it's already doing. We just don't label it as IoT, like a lot of industrial or utility applications, things like that. So I'm really excited to see what'll happen in like a world where almost everything's connected. I'm also very terrified of that too. So I think the uncertainty of that I find really fascinating.
Any research that you're conducting right now?
This summer I'm doing some work with FPGAs. Actually, I'm trying to do precision timing of pulses that come in from single photons. So we're dealing with things on the order of 10 picoseconds, sort of measuring those, which is cool because if you think about it, the speed of light is light basically moves about 3 millimeters in 10 picoseconds. So it's down there. It's close to the limit of a lot of stuff.
Did you always think you were going to be a teacher?
No, I wanted to just build stuff at first, but I don't know what that means, right? Then I wanted to be a doctor because I felt like that, like a medical doctor. I felt that had actually like more purpose, but then I didn't want to do that. Then I wanted to just teach high school, and then I wanted to kind of teach and build stuff, which is sort of how I got into this position, I guess. So
if you could be a professor of like any other field, real or imaginary, what would it be?
History, I think. I've always loved history. If I would have been good at it, I guess, like in a professional sense, like where I could have made contributions to the field, I think I would have pursued that. I think that's really cool.
Dream job?
I think being an electrician would be kind of cool. And then if not that, like a historian of electricians.
Joe, do you have any advice for a student who has no idea what to do in life?
I think just try to do things or put yourself in a position where people will force you to do things. I think oftentimes like young students can, especially if they're talented, there's like this paralysis of choice. You don't know, there's so many good things to do, you don't know what to pick. And I think sometimes just bite the bullet and go in and do something. If you hate it, great. If you like it, even better. But either way, you'll kind of figure out something about yourself.
What's something common that you don't know how to do?
I couldn't think of anything. I can't think of anything.
Mac or Windows?
I know I should answer GNU Linux, but I have a Mac. That's usually my.
Greatest place you've ever visited?
Dublin, Ireland.
Okay. Do you play any instruments?
used to play bass guitar a lot, and bass in high school. Then I did like timpani and percussion as well at that time.
KFC or Popeyes?
Uh, I got really sick at a Popeyes once in college, and then I don't think I've ever eaten at a KFC knowingly. So neither. Is this related to like a meme or something that I'm unaware of?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What class would you take as a student?
I don't know if there's a particular class. I'd really like to do like a welding class. So maybe there is one that does that. Jenny, you're two, right?
Yeah.
Is there? Okay.
I think
Maybe
there's
I'll audit that.
3 class. So which one of your classes do you recommend students take for fun?
People probably wouldn't agree with this, but I think circuits explain so much about life and love and everything that everyone should take it. I think it approaches philosophy almost in terms of its capabilities to explain the world. So 6002. So.
Wow. That was a good class.
How many languages are you proficient in?
So human language is probably none, but programming like 5 or 6, I would say, maybe, depending if I had enough ramp up time for them.
What's one thing that can make a classroom environment?
Feeling okay to ask stupid questions. I never like when people say there are no stupid questions, because there definitely are. Like, that's such a weird thing to say. But with that said, like, it's okay to ask stupid questions. I think we should be comfortable with that. Like, I ask them all the time, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. So what's one thing that can break a classroom environment?
I think, like, whenever there's that one student, like that one student, know the one. So.
Yeah.
Would you rather explore deep space or the bottom of the ocean?
The ocean, bottom of the ocean.
Mm-hmm. What's the oddest question you've ever been asked in class?
Looking back, it's not that odd, but I think I sometimes I hum when I'm working, and like I don't think about it. And I think one time I was humming like a song by, there's an artist called Kishi Bashi. He's like a violinist, and he's not like unknown, but he's also like not widely known. And I think I must have hummed a few notes of the song, and then like minutes later, this student who I was working with in lab was like, "Do you like Kishi Bashi?" And it, like, I remember it just blanked my mind out, because I was like, how does the kid know this? Like, it seemed like it came out of nowhere. And once he explained it, it was fine. But I remember it really, like, a question's never really knocked me out before, I guess, like that.
Wow.
And because, yeah. And then I saw that kid at a Kishi Bashi show like a year later, so that's kind of cool.
Do you have any nicknames?
None of which I am aware.
Okay, favorite MIT building?
I like Walker a lot. I think the fact that it's like old and not really updated, I find really charming, especially like the basement part of it. It looks like that hasn't been touched since like, the Roosevelt administration or something.
I don't know if many MIT students would agree with you.
Okay.
Just because of the exams there. But
well, it's like, but everything around us is getting updated. I like that it's this weird beacon of like not being updated, like next door we have multi-billion-dollar facilities, and then this one just, it's like, I don't know what it is. It's just weird. Yeah, it just is. So
if you could live in any undergrad dorm, which one would it be?
I think if I had to pick a dorm, I think EC is pretty cool. I'd probably live in that one.
What are 3 things you can't live without?
I need to be able to like do something or make things. If I can't do that, I get really like bummed out. Books, and then probably the ability to go outside.
Can you solve a Rubik's Cube?
I have given enough time. I don't know all the weird when students are like, "Oh, you got to do this thing with it or something," right? It's almost it's a random block essentially. So yeah, I've gotten there before. So
how much is enough time?
Oh, I don't think I was even timing. So I don't think I wanted to time and get that number. So
important question. How do you take care of your mustache?
So I just trim it once a week. That's been about it.
Favorite TV series at the moment?
Barry on HBO. It's really, I thought it was supposed to be kind of stupid and funny, but it's actually like funny, but then like really sad and moving too. So I kind of like it.
Your favorite character from the TV series?
It'd be a mixture of Scoot McNairy and Mackenzie Davis's characters from *Halt and Catch Fire*, which is the greatest television show of the last 50 years.
Okay.
Favorite Avenger?
I haven't kept up with those, so I don't know.
Favorite character in Avatar?
I haven't kept up with those, I'm sorry.
Favorite Jonas brother?
I haven't kept up with those either. I think there's one named Joe, right? So maybe that one.
There is.
Okay. So
Okay, so he answered
we'll pick that. We'll pick that one by default. So.
Do you have any pets?
Yeah, I got 2 cats. One's named Carol Kay. She's named after a session bassist from the 60s and 70s, really cool lady. And then the other one, the other cat's named Chessie. She's named after Chessie, who was the mascot of the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway. She looks just like it. It's like a brown tabby, and the mascot would always be sleeping on a pillow, and it would be like, you'll sleep like a kitten on the Chesapeake and Ohio Railway. The C&O went bankrupt in the late 70s, or in the early 70s, with all the other rail lines, and they merged with B&O to become the Chessie system. And then the Chessie system went bankrupt, turned into the CSX system, which is actually the one you see on the that goes through MIT's campus, behind Simmons. So that's actually CSX, which stands for Chessie Seaboard System. So you can see it's all connected.
Best gift you've ever received?
So when I was 8 or 9, I really wanted a pocket knife. Like, for some reason in my child mind, I thought that was like the object of adulthood. And like, I would see people with pocket knife. I think my friend had a pocket knife, and I was like, man, people who have pocket knives have their life together, because they can like whittle anytime and stuff for whatever reason. I don't know. So I begged my mom for one, and she was like, you're going to cut yourself. It's like, you're 8, you don't need a knife. And I begged her, and finally she actually got me one. So I think it was my 9th birthday. And I was super excited. Like, I opened it up, and then I went out onto the porch, and I was like, I'm going to whittle. And I bet you within like maybe 5 minutes, I like slashed my thumb wide open, and I was terrified. I was bleeding everywhere, but I was terrified my mom would take the knife. But instead she just, she was a nurse, so she bandaged it up, and then she let me keep the knife. And I always thought that was pretty cool. So it was like the best gift ever.
Aww. As a teacher, how do you tailor your teaching style to each student that you teach?
I mean, I benefit from EECS sort of touching everything, like, in the world, or maybe that's my opinion that it does. But it's not too hard to twist a student's interest into the task at hand, I suppose. If you can do that, then maybe you can both nerd out together, and then you sort of foster some sort of passion in the material.
Mm-hmm. Who's had the greatest impact on you?
Oh, I mean, my parents, my sister, Uncle Bob, my partner Rachel, probably those folks.
Greatest life philosophy?
Try to help others.
Describe yourself in a hashtag.
I don't know. I'll pass on that one.
Do you have any hobbies you want to talk about?
So woodworking. I like that one.
How did you start on that hobby?
I just like making stuff. My dad did a little bit of it growing up. It's nice to be able to work with like a material that doesn't need like test cases so much, right? You're not like pressing F5. I still mess it up all the time, but it's just it's a different way to fail, I guess, maybe, let's say.
What's your Hogwarts house?
So I was born, my birthday is July 31st, which is Harry's, I'm told. And I actually have a scar in my forehead from when I was 2, I walked into a dresser. So one would think I have all the makings of a big Harry Potter fan, but I never really liked the books. I read up through book 4 or 5 and kind of gave up. Rachel, my partner, says I'm a Hufflepuff. Is that one a Hufflepuff? I think. Yeah. Okay. Good. So yeah, I'm a Hufflepuff. I don't know. I watched the movies, but like out of order. So I have this real weird like Memento understanding of what happens in the series, and I'm actually not feeling too bad about that now because J.K. Rowling's turning out to not be a very good person. So I'll just leave it at that.
Do you have a favorite place to eat on campus?
I like Stata. I like the corn muffins at the cafe place there.
Favorite place to eat off campus?
It doesn't exist anymore. There used to be a restaurant called Hungry Mother, and they had like the best cornbread. Like you would eat it, you would like cry. It was so good.
Superpower that you would want?
I would love to be able to like look at a circuit and see and quantify the currents that go through it. I think that would be really cool because you always have to like break a circuit in order to measure the current. So just to be able to like look at it and say, oh, there's 13 milliamps or something, that would be pretty sweet.
How are you feeling for the fall?
I'm nervous because you never know, but I want to also just get going so we can, start doing stuff.
Final question, 73rd question. Any last words for incoming freshmen?
So like, it's difficult because you can't really do it now, but when you are on campus eventually, I think make sure you go out and see Boston and the area. I think it's very easy at MIT to disappear into it, and then 4 years go by and you're like, oh, I didn't do anything, right? I mean, Cambridge is a bubble, MIT is a bubble in Cambridge. You're probably in a bubble of your own making within MIT, so you're super isolated. So I don't know, just get on the train and take it somewhere, or go see a show, or just walk around the city and stuff. You want to be able to leave MIT and say like, oh yeah, I know Boston, right?
Everyone, that concludes our interview. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys smash that like button, hit subscribe on this channel. Yeah. Thank you Joe, for interviewing, and that's it.